Bauer Academy, where industry, education and business mix.
Domestic abuse is a serious matter. There are 11 million under 18s in England, and 1 in 5 will be exposed to domestic abuse.
That's 2.2 million people. I'm Josh.
And I'm Joel. And for the next few minutes, we'll be talking about cultural and honour abuse.
Cultural and honour abuse can be being hurt or abused as a punishment. It could be something that is frowned upon by the local community, or even being forced to marry someone against your will.
It's hard to make a contingency plan when your whole community is abusing you.
We have with us an ex-victim of domestic abuse to show views on domestic abuse.
What are your views on cultural or honour violence?
I believe there is no such thing as honour abuse, because there is no honour to be found in any abuse, violence or murder, absolutely anywhere. It's cultural, it's a community. You don't have just a perpetrator, just an offender, you have a family and a community as well.
What are your views on forced marriage?
I think it's exceedingly very wrong. I think a person should be able to choose who they marry, to choose whether they marry or not. I believe everybody has their own choices in life, and those should be respected and upheld.
Why do you think some people don't think others are good enough for the community?
There's a whole other law to UK law that dominates this. It's something that we oppose quite, because we think that women and children are being put into danger because of this. It's the community that feel that you have dishonoured your family. You're supposed to put up and shut up.
How do you safeguard yourself from cultural or honour violence?
That's a very, very difficult question. Once you have fled domestic abuse that has that cultural dynamic and community dynamic, the safeguarding and risk management of that is very complex, because you've not just got one offender, you have a community, you have a family. It puts a great deal of risk as well on victims, because victims lose their identity, they lose their community too. It's very sad.
When do victims normally make a stand?
That can vary. There can be a breaking point, it can be that they've been nearly beaten to death, they've been raped. It can be absolutely anything that tips that balance, that says, I've got to get out of here. A lot of the time as a victim, you don't realise what's happening to you. You don't see the control. You don't see it at all. And then it's before it's too late, but then you're already caught into that.
What do you think it would feel like to witness this as a child?
I witnessed domestic abuse as a child too. My father was a domestic abuse perpetrator. I was put in the cupboard under the stairs so that me and my sister, so we couldn't see it. So I know what it's like to experience it as a child, and it's awful. It's awful. No child should have to experience domestic abuse, and domestic abuse is child abuse if children are present.
Can domestic abuse reach a level where victims can get PTSD?
Yes, and that can happen very quickly. That can happen in weeks. I have something called complex PTSD. A lot of victims have PTSD. Most coercive control victims have PTSD, and coercive control is a factor in every domestic abuse relationship. When you look at PTSD, people think of this as soldiers, but it's not. Any victim of any crime can suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.